There's so many people that work so hard to make tonight's a really, it's not even an event. It's more of a celebration. You know, so I thank you, whoever's here tonight. I thank you for being here. And trust me, you will definitely be happy that you came out tonight because it's definitely going to be a blessed night.
All right, Mr. Garvey, where you at?
Like we always do with this time, I go for mine, I got to shine. Now throw your hands up in the sky. I go for mine, I got to shine. Now throw your hands up in the sky.
I'm gonna get on the TV, mama.
You don't want somebody to hold you to a standard that they don't hold themselves to.
All right.
Don't ask me to treat you like a queen when you treat yourself like a hoe.
But for those of you who believe in God, the Bible says that you may have plans, but God directs your path. It doesn't matter if you think that you're supposed to be married by 35. If that's not God's plan, it's not going to happen.
Relationships are a lot more serious than you getting your cookies off.
Come on.
Take your time and realize lives are produced through sex.
Come on.
Good evening, good evening. Welcome to The Truth Revealed. We want to welcome you and thank you for joining us tonight. We're going to call this the Truth Poetry Jam.
All right.
All right, we can call this the Truth Poetry Jam. It's cold. It's the winter. It's cold winter. So do this with me. Do this with me.
Oh, we're doing the snap?
Yeah, we're going to do the snap. We're going to do the snap. Okay. Okay, no, honestly, this is the Truth Revealed. We're here to talk about relationships and many different things that we're going to discuss tonight. You know, before we actually get started, I know a lot of people like to give the acknowledgments late at the end of the show, but I want to start off by giving the acknowledgement first. You know, as we know, this is Martin Luther King's birthday, so I definitely want to give honor to a trailblazer for opening doors for people such as myself to be able to have an opportunity to be able to be on this stage today. You know, and I know a lot of people look forward to it because it's the day off and you don't have anything to do and, you know, you get a day off from work. Well, you know, it's a day off from work, whatever. But I look at it as a day of celebration, a day that we can, you know, just give honor and, you know, just to give thanks for someone that just opened up the doors. And for me to be here today is just such a blessing. You know, I thank God for being able to be in this opportunity to be in this chair today. And so many people that's opened the door for me and so many people that supported me. You know, I have some people here with me today that just, you know, amazing friends, amazing people. You know, one of my co-hosts, Xavier, Bost, you know, she definitely, you know, helped me out and, you know, been here. I'm going to allow her to introduce herself as well because I won't do it any justice. And, you know, we have another young lady, Iman. I'm going to have her introduce herself as well. But Xavier, you start off to introduce yourself.
Well, thank you, Calvin, for having me on. What are we calling this
The Truth
tonight?
Revealed.
The Truth Revealed. So I'm super excited to be here. My name is Xavier Bost. I am a singer, actor, writer, and just entrepreneur, someone who loves God and also loves, you know, being able to talk to our people and communicate, and what a day to do that on MLK Day. So I'm also the CEO and host of the Extreme Praise Show, and you can check us out at www.extremepraiseshow.com. And I'm just really glad and blessed to be here, and I can't wait to have the conversations that we're going to have tonight and see how we can hopefully bless you all.
Yes. You have another young lady. Iman, please introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Iman Dean. I'm also an entrepreneur. I own a company called thebirthdaypartybooker.com. And outside of my website, which I plan events around New York City, I've also been hosting events for a very long time, which is how I met Calvin many years ago. And I am no newbie to the Truth panel. This will be my third time being able to be a part of the Truth. So I'm just happy to be here. Thank you.
Like Iman said, this started off, we actually have a forum that we do once every 2 months, but today we are live. Today we are just going to have a discussion, a round table about relationships. So let me just start off with, Iman, let me ask you a question. What is one of the big misconceptions about women that you would like men to know?
Oh, wow.
That we always get wrong or we don't understand about women.
Man, okay, no prep on that one.
We're diving right
ask
into it.
Xavier too, because she's gonna jump right in. We gonna,
Can you repeat the question?
Right, exactly.
What's the biggest misconception about women that men don't understand?
Yeah, I think that I don't know that there's necessarily one misconception. I think that women, just like men can be, women are misunderstood a lot of times. And I think that sometimes things that we might say or we might do that are can be very innocent, it is blown out of context or, I don't think that, and not misunderstanding, but I don't think that gender separate, you put men and women in different categories. I don't think that people take time to really get an opportunity to understand what that person is doing or what made them, what the thought process was behind that. So I think just kind of overall, I know that there's one big misconception that I really feel, but I just think, just kind of understanding where everyone's coming from.
That was good. That was good. What would you say?
So since it's MLK Day, let's talk about the black woman and the misconception of the black woman by the black man. And I think a huge misconception, and ladies out there who are watching, I'm sure you can attest to this, is that the black woman has an attitude. And the black woman is always putting the black man down and things of that matter. And what I think is very misconstrued is all the weight that we have on our shoulders. And this goes for the black family as a whole, but let's speak about to the women, the black woman, right? Being the matriarch of the family, being the one who has to hold and bind everything together. And, every woman has a different situation. And, whether it be that she is married and has to take care of her husband and her children or if she's single and, she's just on her grind and trying to take care of what she has to take care of and not have to deal with the nonsense. I think a lot of times we're approached in certain ways or, just our daily lives. And we tend to be looked at as if we have an attitude. And let me take something really elementary. Really, you think I thought about this a little bit?
Just a little bit.
Wait, you had an opportunity to go over the questions. I'm like,
I actually didn't. But no, just something really elementary, right?
It was double dutching.
Here goes one thing, right?
Go ahead.
And I don't know. I think I recently had a conversation. I'm part of a forum online that had this conversation. When a woman is approached, and have you dealt with this? You walk down the street and you're just going about your daily business, and you have someone stop you and say, "Why don't you smile? What's wrong with your face? Come on, let me see a smile on your face." As if we're supposed to walk down the street like this all day. So as to make whomever is,
appease,
looking at us and probably gawking at us, appease them. And if we don't, that somehow means that we have an attitude. How about I could have been thinking about something? How about I might have just been going through something? Or how about I'm just walking normally? No one walks down the street
smiling
with unless they're happening to thinking about something, you know what I mean? And I think a lot of times that's just one little elementary thing,
Can I jump in on that?
Well,
you sure can.
Before you jump in, I'm sorry. I just actually have to say this.
Go ahead.
So, yes, in that case, I do agree with you. However, I will say, though, because I have a lot of black female friends, a lot of powerful, dynamic black female friends. And there are times that black women can walk around with a chip on their shoulder, and I'm a black woman, so and I just know that even an interaction one-on-one with other black women, because I'm very nice. I'm like, hey, what's going on? There are moments that I don't want to be bothered, but I know in we'll just say planning events. I have been at an event or planned an event, and there have been other black women in the room, and off the back, it's like, kind of a shoulder and a look. And I haven't done anything to you. So it's not even a black woman just that they have attitudes, but I think that New York women, because I'm from Tampa, and I'm sorry, New York women.
Wait a minute.
You guys are getting mad at me right now. When I came to New York City, it was a huge wake-up call for me, because I'm from an area, in the South where everyone says hello.
Right.
You know, everyone says good morning, good evening, how are you? Here, it's just, you know, everyone has their nose in the air and everyone's so uptight. And I've been here for almost 20 years, and that's been one of the things I've tried not to relinquish, is that genuine sort of love and affection for people. So when you say, do black women, it's a misconception, oftentimes I straddle the fence here, but you know, we have to do self-evaluation of our own selves and say, hey, if I'm walking down the street or if I'm in a bar and someone says hello, not everyone is trying to pick you up.
I agree.
Not everyone is trying to be rude or has something to gain by approaching you. Sometimes people just want to say hi.
I agree.
Can I say something?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I kind of want to say something too, but go ahead.
We're gonna jump in. I'm gonna piggyback off of what Iman said. And a lot of times, women, black women, whatever, are not approachable. So sometimes as men, it's hard for us to approach you and come up to you and say hello, or come up to you and say, hello, beautiful, how are you doing? Because a lot of times you're not really approachable. And I'm a believer that you attract who you are. You know, so the face that you have on, the attitude that you have on that day, not necessarily saying you have an attitude, but whatever that attitude is, that's the energy that you draw. So if I see a woman, I'm not saying a woman's supposed to smile all the time, but if I see a woman and she's, you know, she looks positive, she looks happy, she looks like she's in that place, now I feel like I can approach her. And now I feel like I can go to her and say, hello, how are you doing? Hope you're having a good day, or hello, beautiful, and say something. But when you're not into that place, sometimes it's hard for a man, a decent man, a good man, to approach you
and
say
body
something.
Language.
You know,
body language is how you know,
It
the
is.
emotion you wear in your face. You know, you may not have to smile, but a happy person, well, I won't even say woman, happy person has an air about them.
They do.
Where you feel their energy. And I do know I've been encountered with a lot of women where I didn't feel that energy.
Well, I agree. So back to, you know, the points that you were making. I think one about the New York women, right? I think that's New Yorkers, period. And and anyone, I have friends who are I'm from New York, born and raised in Brooklyn. I think I have kind of Southern hospitalities, though.
Right.
My family is from down there. However, I'm just, with my personality, I'm a nice person. So I try to be that one who will smile back at you and things like that. However, I think it's the culture of New York. Even when people come from other places and give it about a year, they usually, what you tried not to do is they would, you know, usually adapt to the culture because they've dealt with being that nice person and got the opposite. You know what I mean?
Right.
But to your point, I understand that and about women being approachable, and that's true. But I think sometimes we are all put into this box as a black woman, saying that all black women have attitudes or all black, and that's not true.
Not the truth.
It's just not true. You know, and it bothers me a lot because it's another stereotype, and usually it's put on by our own people. You know what I mean? So I think it starts to break down the family. It breaks down the black family, which is something that, let's bring it back to MLK Day. You know, Martin Luther King was totally against. He was about the black family. And I think in order for us to progress in this day and age, we have to build that back up amongst each other. As black women, we have to be able to speak and lift each other up and celebrate each other and celebrate the things that we are doing in our lives. And I look at you and I'm like, wow, you're doing amazing things, sister. You know, God bless you. And vice versa with the men and the women. You know, and I think that's how we start to build, because once we start to build our family, we can then go into the world and come as one against all the elements out there that's coming against us. Right. You know what I mean?
I agree.
I agree. Which you brought up a good point. So let me ask this question. Let me put this question out there. It's a two-part question. Do you believe in gender roles? And if you do, who do you believe should set the standards when it comes down to that?
I 100% believe in gender roles. I come from a home where a man, I have a teenage father. You know, my dad was 17 when I was born, and later on in life, he assumed the responsibility of taking care of a young girl. And in that, he showed me that it was okay to be a girl. It's okay to be a woman. Make sure that you hustle and grind and do what you got to do, but also know that when you find that right man that's going to come into your life, he is going to automatically assume those roles and those responsibility of being the head of the household. I think that the culture has changed. It's not where, the man goes out and works and the woman stays home and raises the children, which is totally fine. But a real man takes on the responsibility of supporting the family, then however that support comes, whether it be emotional, physical, financial, whatever that role is. The man is the head, and the man is supposed to set the tone for what that is. And I feel a woman is supposed to follow along with that. Obviously, a woman, it's so funny. I remember this quote from my big fat Greek wedding. I don't know if you guys ever saw it.
I've seen it.
Yeah. So one of my favorite quotes of all time, and the quote was, she said, the man is the head, but the woman is the neck.
Yes.
And she can turn the head wherever she wants it to go. So while the man is most certainly the neck, the head, the woman is still the neck. She's still going to be the backbone of that family unit. So it takes two really strong people to be able to understand what those roles are within the home, and there not be that overlapping clashing, and that's my response to that.
Xavier, let me ask you this question, and just leading off of what Iman said, do you believe that gender roles have changed in this day and age?
Well, definitely. I think gender roles have definitely changed. I mean, just society as a whole changing from the point when women had to take over the jobs that men were doing because they were away at war. And I think it kind of just progressed on in the women's rights movements and just a whole lot of things. But even in this day and age, we hold the same roles as men do. And there's nothing wrong with that. However, I do still, I have a biblical base to it. So I believe that the man is the head of the household and the head of the family. But it doesn't mean that I don't look at it as he's a dictator. No. Not at all. I believe we're a team. I believe that we are supposed to act as a team in raising our family. I do believe, as you do, that, the man is the one who's supposed to hold the family down. Not to say the woman doesn't, because the woman, whatever her role is, and here's where it changed, right? You have some men nowadays who are the ones who stay home, and the women are the ones who go to work. I mean, it's not a typical thing, but there are families like that. So, but still in all, he as the man should still be leading that household, and they come together as one. If I have these resources and my resources, the finances, then I'm going to bring that in. And if your resources is making sure that our children, are taken care of to the best of the ability so that they can grow up to be productive individuals in life, then that's fine. But as a unit, we all have to come together. But under the leadership of God, the man is the head. And I believe the woman as that part of the unit should follow with him,
Okay. So you're comfortable being submissive.
Yeah. I mean, so here's the thing about that. It has to be for the very right person.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So you can't walk around just being submissive to anyone or allowing any man to lead you.
Right.
Because just like you wouldn't allow any woman to be that supportive system for you. You understand? So it's really about two people who find each other, love each other, have the same views and values, and respect for one another. And when you come to that point, then you start to figure out that you want to begin to build a life together. And when you're starting to build that life, then at that point you'll know. I am dating someone, and when we first met, I knew immediately, I grabbed me and he's like, I'm not finished talking to you. And I was like, well.
And she said, woo, hey, well, I'm right now.
Right, exactly. And that was the first time that I felt like I could be led. You know, it was the first time that someone had shown to me all the things that my father showed me a man is supposed to be. That was the first time that that representative came to me, and I felt it. It wasn't, he didn't have to say anything, he didn't have to do anything. It was in all of his aura. So yeah.
So you trust him.
I trust him. Yeah.
So what about you, Calvin?
Yes.
What do you feel about gender roles? Let's flip the script because I am co-hosting. So now, Calvin.
It's supposed to be my show.
She just sidelined it.
Yes, I definitely believe in gender roles. I believe one of the reasons why relationships do not work this day and age is because gender roles have changed, to be totally honest with you. I believe that you mentioned a man staying home. Call me old-fashioned.
You don't
I don't
think
believe in that.
Okay.
You know, there's a scripture in the Bible that says a man that don't work don't eat.
I hear you.
Right. You know, so I believe in a man. And, you know, of course, there's always different exceptions to the rules. You know, you get injured or something of the sort. But if you're a grown man, my pastor always say this, right? If you're a grown man and you can work,
then you should be
you
working.
better be out there working,
Right.
hustling.
Right.
I don't care if you're selling tapes on the corner, you know, legal work, you know.
Please make sure you read it.
Let me put that out there.
Not the bootleg tapes.
But I definitely believe in gender roles. I definitely believe in that. But, you know, I believe that a man's supposed to work because
Yeah.
I think as a man, if we don't feel secure financially, if we don't feel secure knowing that we're in a certain place, then we don't feel secure. Now, all of a sudden, we have insecurities. Now, all of a sudden, we're feeling regrets. And we start looking at our lady different, you know, and she'll be like, I got a bonus. And we're like, what did you have to do for that bonus? You know, and that's because we don't feel secure within ourselves.
Right.
So our money have to be, or not really necessarily our money, just our situation has to be in a place where we feel like we're going somewhere, we're doing something. We don't have to come to you and say, can I borrow some money? Or, you know, I kind of need this to do that. So I definitely believe that. And on the flip side, with all due respect, I think a lot of women have lost their place on where they're supposed to be as a woman in their roles.
And
you know,
where is that?
Right.
I know.
And where is
but
that?
I don't believe that men and women can do the same things. I don't believe that. And what I mean by that is, it's, you know, I know a lot of women say that, you know, men can do this and a woman can do the same thing. No, we live in a totally different world. You know, you have to know that this man is the head, and you have to trust him and believe that he's going to lead you. You have to. And I think a lot of times, a lot of women try to jump into the driver's seat a lot of times when it's not their place to jump into the driver's seat. And I get it. Hold on, I know you. Right, I know I'm ready to go. And I get it.
Right.
If you feel like sometimes you have to allow him to make a mistake.
Right.
Sometimes you have to allow him. Hold on. One of my favorite movies that I love is War Room, right? And she wanted to jump in so bad, right? And every time she had to, and you know, the grandmother, older lady, whatever, if anybody
I
ever
didn't see
saw
it.
it.
Don't tell
whatever.
us.
Okay,
No
fine.
spoiler.
You never saw it, right? Did you saw it, right?
Yeah.
Well, there was a young lady that was basically her mentor, and she basically was kind of letting her know, pray for this man. He's going to mess up. He's going to go the wrong
Right.
direction, but intercede for him. Pray for him. You married him. You trust him. And like you said, Iman, if you trust him, and you know that this is the man that you know is going to lead you, there's going to be times where he's going to get lost. It's no different than a man driving. We don't always ask for directions. We
is so
don't.
true.
But sometimes we're going to get back on that road, and then we will look back on that driver's seat, on the passenger seat, and say, thank you. And you may not understand why he's saying thank you, but in his mind, in his heart, what he's saying is, thank you for trusting in me. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for still staying with me. And he may come back and say, you know, I was lost, right? You know, I was wrong, right? He may come back and say that. But as soon as you tell a man sometimes what to do, he immediately, if you tell him to go left, he's going to go right just because you told him to go left.
That's how you do it,
No.
right?
I think that, though, before it gets to that point, you know, you're talking about their gender roles being different now. I think that the reason why a lot of women start to take on the responsibility of being the leader and being in the driver's seat is because there was a time where men stopped being men.
Yes.
You know, like I said, my father raised me, but I think along that period, the 80s, the 90s, there was an influx of men who were leaving women with children.
With children.
And you left women to raise young kids on their own, young boys, which need their father, and young girls, which need their father. So you have this generation that has come up seeing that my mother was strong. She held down the household. She took care of 5 kids on her own. She did this. And then you have those women who are taking on and saying, if my mother can do it, I can do it. She went to work, fed us, put clothes on our back, made sure our homework was done, read us a bedtime story, all like literally juggling all these different things. So yeah, you're right. We have taken on the feeling that we can do it ourselves because we've been left to do it ourselves for so long.
Right.
So it definitely takes it. We need to get back to that generation. Just like how you are nicely coiffed in your suit. You look very nice there, I might say. You know, they're like, there were men wore suits on a regular basis at some point, right? They looked good. They took pride in themselves, took pride in their families. That got lost.
It did.
So they stopped doing those things. The gentleman, that was obsolete. Until I, again, you know, started dating my now boyfriend, I didn't know that a gentleman even existed anymore. You know, because men just don't do those things. They don't open the doors. You know, they don't call to check on you. They aren't worried about what's going on in your day. How are you feeling? Like, you know, it's just like, yo, what's up? Yeah, when you want to meet up?
Yeah.
All right, well, let me know when you're free. What do you mean, let me know when you're free?
Netflix
Make
and
a
chill.
date, you know? Take me out. Let's go and do something, you know? So, yeah, while it is important to allow a man to lead, men need to get back into the driver's seat because they stopped driving.
And you said something I thought was interesting. There's a difference between a man and a boy.
Right.
You know, a lot of boys, like exactly what you said, what you described, are boys.
Right.
You know, never really grew up to be men. And a lot of times what happens is that because the man wasn't in the house, and I understand that women, you know, can take care of it. You know, I was raised by a single mom. But just because you can stop a car with your feet doesn't make it a good idea.
Right.
You know, so a lot of times what happens is you have to allow that man sometimes to be a man. And I totally get it. You know, and a lot of times we don't really know where we getting that from, where we learning that from.
Right.
So a lot of times, unfortunately, we have to learn on the fly. We have to make a lot of mistakes. Go ahead.
Let
Zane, I know
me,
you
just
want to
an
say something.
analogy of, have any of you ever taken salsa?
Yeah.
Okay, so in salsa, what I love about salsa is you have to, as the woman in that classroom, let that man lead. When I took salsa
And I have 2 left feet,
when I
so
took
it's
salsa,
hard.
yes, well, when I took salsa level 1, right? I mean, I know how to move, period, but I wanted to get the technique down. And there was a lot of gentlemen in the room, different walks of life. Some of them had 2 left feet and didn't know what they were doing. The lady gave them the steps, and they had to come and rotate. The lady stayed put, and they rotated between the ladies. And a lot of us women, because we already had the steps down, we were trying to lead. She was like, no, you do not lead. Let him lead. If he makes a mistake, let him make that mistake. And let me tell you, by the 3rd and 4th class, it was like, in my head, my whole thought process completely changed. And I just immediately equated it to life, men with women, that this is how we have to allow the men to lead. And that's the only, if they don't know how because they weren't taught by their fathers who were not at home, then they're going to wind up learning and make the mistakes and pick themselves back up and keep it moving. And it's the same way they do in salsa. You have to let them lead, let them trip, make their little mistake. And I saw the guys struggling internally in their head. I did. I saw them and they were like, no, that's not the move. I'm like, you got it. And guess what I started doing? Trying to encourage them. And the more I encouraged them, they got confidence and decided to keep going. And that's what we have to do for our men. And I think, you know, it's important. The men do have to step up to the plate, though.
They have to step up to the plate.
Before let's. You want a salsa? You want to?
I'll let you lead.
We're having a great discussion, but right now we're going to go to a quick commercial. So please stick around, and we're going to come right back.
We'll be back.
Thank you.
Yo, what's up, y'all? This is me, GMC, in the place to be, the greatest MC in history. There will never be an MC greater than me. And right about now, the only place for you to be is with the one and only Madhouse TV.
You are the man.
What are you looking for? You don't even know that. You don't even know you're on the ball list, so you can't even answer. I'm asking you about it. You gotta be highly skilled. You gotta be highly skilled. You understand that? Are you well versed there? Are you very smart man? Hit me with some funny shit.
My shit's twisted.
Tell me something. Tell me something.
What do you have right there?
That's awesome.
Well,
that's a big.
That's nice. You know damn well.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's
Sir. Are you interested in
twisted
not?
Yes, I am.
sure. See, you got twisted.
That's twisted. That's talented.
You see what I'm saying? You understand me? And if you can't whip out answers like that, that man is liable to go on a commercial break, punch your fucking mouth loose. You understand me? Time is up, sir. You understand me? You're on. You're the man. All right, give me your name now. I'm sorry.
My name is Willie.
Willie, where you working at?
We are twisted. We are awesome. Love it.
Can you repeat that question again?
Galaxy Luxury Coach is a full-service limousine and party bus company. Family-owned and operated, we are an industry leader with over 25 years of experience in providing best-in-class luxury transportation for your special event. Whether it's your precious wedding day, an all-day wine tour out east, your high school prom, that special birthday, or just an amazing night on the town, our professional chauffeurs stand ready to ensure your special event is truly special. Galaxy Luxury Coach has one of the largest and modern party bus fleets in the New York area. Our party buses are simply nightclubs on wheels. Concert sound systems, light shows, lasers and strobes, multicolor LED lighting brilliantly lights your party bus inside and out. For corporate and more laid-back events, we will cater to your specific needs and requests. What sets Galaxy aside from all others in the luxury transportation industry is our attention to detail in customizing our services to your special event. At Galaxy, it's all about you and your guests. Galaxy customers return time and time again because they know they can trust Galaxy to help deliver those lifetime memorable moments. Step aboard and let your Galaxy experience begin.
Welcome back to The Truth Revealed. We want to start off by introducing another special guest that we have here. He ended up coming a little late, but is a really good friend of mine, and we're going to allow him to introduce himself.
My name is Damon Moore. I'm Aquarius. I'm single. I like long walks in the parks and romance novels.
Okay.
What's the last novel? What's the last romance novel you read?
Last romance novel I read was He Really Likes Me. And it was a romance novel written by the brother of a woman that thought she was in love with a guy, but he ended up being in love with her sister. It was crazy, but that's why I liked it.
All right now.
I don't know how I feel about
JD,
that.
Don't y'all put me on the spot.
Yeah.
He's like, I really do. That was my test for you, Damon. High five.
That's right. I
You
can
made
read
it.
and wrote.
Hey, you can never test an Aquarius. We'll always have an answer for you.
Even if we make it up.
Fake it till you make it.
I love it. I love it.
So funny.
We wanted to start off the next segment, and we're going to call this segment, This Is What I Said. Now tell me what you heard. Okay, we're going to start off with Damon. Damon, when a man says, I'm good, I want you to explain this to the women. When a man say, I'm good, what does that mean?
Well, roughly when he's saying that, it's in response to somebody continuously asking him, are you good? Or what's wrong, baby? He's telling you, I'm good. Leave me alone. I've accepted the situation. This is what it is. Being quiet is the best for us. I'm good. But what you guys must hear is ask me again. Because I'm going to break down emotionally and tell you how me and my mother didn't get along and how my ex treated me bad. That's not roughly what he's saying. When he's saying I'm good,
That means leave him alone?
it means I'm good. Leave me, move on.
We really don't hear that.
We really don't hear
We
that.
really don't. All we hear is, you're lying to me. No, really, what's wrong with you?
Stick with a man and his 2-word answers. It's very transparent. I'm good. And when y'all arguing and he get really upset, he says stuff like, I'm here. Like, what you want me to do? I'm here. Like, I don't know what I'm doing here, but I'm here. You treating me any kind of way. You calling me everything except Jesus' child, but I'm here.
Damon Moore, everybody.
Damon Moore.
Oh my God. Oh
I
God.
love it. This is why I love this
My
guy.
brother right here.
2-word answers. Stay with it.
Yes.
Okay, Iman, when a woman says, I'm good, what does that mean to a man?
What does it mean to a man?
Yeah, like, I'm sorry.
What should we take?
Yeah, how should we take that? I know women don't usually say, I'm good. It
No,
usually
because
goes
I
to
say
a little lengthy.
I say I'm good all the
Okay.
time, and when I mean I'm good, I mean I'm good. Don't bother me.
Don't bother you.
I
Okay.
need a moment to process. I think it's the same exact thing.
Okay.
But when you are in the receiving end of I'm good, all you hear is, but I need to fix this.
Right.
Like something is not right. You
Right.
just saying I'm good, it's not right. What's wrong?
Right.
We need to fix it. So I know that as a woman, that's what I'm hearing. But as a woman, when I say I'm good, I really means that I'm good. Yeah. Like,
And it depends if she's smiling.
oh, if
say,
I'm
good.
smiling.
I mean, okay, it's going to happen.
It's all
later
about
on.
tonality.
Yeah,
It could be,
right.
I'm good. Or it could be, I'm good.
Right.
I'm good, all
Yeah,
right?
you need to be quiet, like right now.
I'm good, step away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The next one. Damon, when a man says, I have female friends.
How many countries just friends?
What does that mean?
This might be a guy code. God, what's going on?
Don't give it all away. This
All right,
is-
don't-
you
all right,
know,
all right, all
you know,
right,
we
all
just
right.
going to keep some of
Well,
it to ourselves.
I think a real man, a king,
Mm.
he needs female friends, companionship.
Mm.
Meaning, you know, y'all not sexing, anything like that, but somebody that truly can take 2 stances in his life. One as a friend and another as a woman. Because you need somebody from that opposite sex that speaks their language to be able to tell you, yeah, as a woman, if you'd have said that to me, I'd have walked out too. But you also need that friend that can say she's the best thing about you. And I seen you when you wasn't with her. You need to get back with her. You need to apologize. So I think it's valid. Of course, moderation, you know, too much of anything is an issue. And I think in today's society, we throw those titles around too easily. My friend. That's not really your friend. That's something you keep in back of a glass, break in case of emergency. We know those individuals, right? But if you got somebody that's genuinely a friend, it's okay. And you shouldn't have to defend that. And if you're in a relationship and you have to defend that, it's almost like, why am I here then? If I'm telling you this is my person, and this is somebody that generally cares about me and us and my happiness, why would you take that? But then you're dealing with insecurities on both ends. Because I know guys that deal with that with the opposite sex. If my woman has male friends, right? And the guy's insecure. I'm good with male friends. Just don't tell me you slept with them. I'm good. Even if y'all slept together 30 years ago, that's not my business. Because when you introduce him to me, he's your friend.
Right.
And you need a friend. You need somebody that's going to say, guys don't do that.
I like that.
And I think that's fair. And in a relationship, you have to do what I think is fair. Because being right is not important. And she may feel like, oh, it's disrespectful. You got all these females. And then your friends, they have to understand etiquette. I have a group of friends that sometimes their etiquette is a bit off. You call me 11 o'clock at night and you're crying. And your significant other it's not a comfortable situation to hear you be concerned and compassionate with another woman, meaning that, yeah, you have that, but that's supposed to be for me. Why are you doing that? And sometimes I have issues with even getting a balance because you want to be there for your friends, but you also want to be the man you're supposed to be for the person you want to be that for. So it's a balance, and I think in friendships it's always, look, I'm in a relationship, things change. Like if I would have won the Powerball, y'all, I would have acted very funny. Just letting y'all know. But I didn't, right? But things change.
He wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm broken on world.
There'd be a question mark in that scene.
That's it.
I had the same question.
Now, what does it mean if you have now? And I'm not speaking for myself. I think you gave a very nice answer.
Oh gosh,
I really do.
And
However,
gave that deep breath, so
I believe that that's not always the case. I think there are times when people say, I have friends, and they're not just friends. The friends means I have a bunch of people that I'm dating right now, and I haven't committed to anybody. And Damon, why do you look like that?
All right. I was answering a question from somebody who was involved. That's where that question would come up.
Yeah.
If you're dating today, I think, it's silly. We're not online or anything. If you're doing old school dating, you're really seeing people, you're talking to them, right?
Going out, right?
Yeah, you see somebody, they got all their teeth, they can read. It's a good chance somebody else is interested in them. It's a good chance.
Right to have all your teeth these days.
Yeah, it depends. We know how the health insurance game goes, so you may not have all the teeth. I'm understanding. Obamacare didn't reach everybody, so I'm understanding on some things. And some nights teeth is not good. So, you just got to go with it. I mean, this is an adult show. Right? This is an adult show. So,
all right, did you ask that?
I didn't see Elmo or anybody.
Go ahead, finish. Just live. Just go ahead.
So, basically, what I'm saying is that when you got an individual and we are just seeing each other, just that question alone throws me off. They're not asking me. Somebody may say that. I may be out with a young lady, and hey, how you doing? This is a true story. And I seen somebody, not somebody that I was involved with. Usually, it was just somebody I work with. I couldn't remember the name. She walked over, hey, hugs, bang, bang, sat down, told the waitress, hey, give them a drink. She was with somebody else. The young lady, she didn't say it, but I can tell from her other language that she felt uncomfortable about it. And I'm just not in that business. It could have been somebody that came into my office one day. It could have been somebody that came into one of the Truth forums. It's not in my benefit to have somebody have an interaction with me and say that I was acting funny.
Right.
That's not my style. And I'm not doing that. I'm with you. I was holding your hand when I walked in, holding your hand when I walked out.
Paying for the bill.
I'll pay for the bill. I'm here.
I'm good.
I'm good. We good. See the two words? Pay attention to the two words. We good. But, and you do that. So it depends. Sometimes when I believe in my stuff, her stuff, and then our stuff. Sometimes someone takes their insecurities and they put them on you. Why you got all these friends? Well, I'm sorry. I talk to people. I'm not going to be the person that don't talk to people. And then when you stop, we all got friends that when they got into a relationship or what seemed like a relationship, they disappeared. Then 8 months later, they coming out saying, where y'all at? Where was you? Where was you for the last 8 months? So, it's balance in all relationships.
Yeah.
So
I think it's healthy though. I have been blessed with a really, really great friend circle, and that friend circle consists of men and women. Granted, most it's all couples, but before there were couples, we were friends, and we have all become a foundation for each other. if I'm having an issue or maybe there's something that's going on, I have a friend, a male friend within that circle, you know, who's I consider a brother, and I know if I go to him, he's going to give me sound advice. I think that we live in a different day and age. Back then, you know, if a woman had male friends, then or a man had female friends, you know, there was an issue. You know, you left it open for interpretation. But I think we live in a very cohesive, co-ed society now, where it's okay to have male and female friends. I mean, if you don't, like, you know, like Damon said, you know, it allows you to get a perspective from your male or female counterpart. You know, help out your relationship. Shoot, something recently happened to me in my relationship, and I need to call my brother and say, listen, you know, I'm wrong. I need your help. I need you to guide me through this, because he said he's good, and I don't think he's good. And his response was, he's good. So no, I think that it's I think that's very important to have that. I think it's okay. Yeah, but you know, there is a line, and you definitely need to make sure that you're not crossing that line. And it can be easily done, but it's about making sure it's not crossed.
Okay. Well, I know we're coming close to the end of the show, so let me ask Damon this question. Damon, what's the most important thing to understand about men?
The most important thing to understand about men. Okay. One thing is that, well, the most important thing is that we have egos. And most times our egos are one with our emotions, and they tend to supersede our intelligence. So it doesn't make sense that we need to hear it or we need to feel like that, but it's just superseded our intelligence. So don't make a man feel small. I think we are very simple, but complicated in being simple. That's what makes us complicated, that we're so simple. Sometimes when he's saying, I'm good, he's really good. It's really like Tuesday for him. It wasn't life changing. It was like, I'm good, I'm all right. And it's difficult for most men, not Calvin or myself, because we're emotional. Right?
I know that's right.
And we're not.
Yeah.
And not only we're emotional, men are emotional. That okay. The one thing.
Go. I'm glad you said that.
Men are emotional.
Yes.
Don't think we are not emotional, but a lot of us are inept at expressing those emotions. So we are just as emotional as women, or even more so. But society tips us away in a way where he says, "Hey, we don't do that. Boys don't cry. What's going on with you? Da, 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 don't wipe it off. Man up." They never tell you woman up, but they say man up. So that means suppress your emotions. It doesn't say go away. Suppress them, and you're really not allowed to discuss those unless you are with one of the good brothers, right? Or maybe you may do it in one of your religious settings, one of your spiritual settings. But it's a difficult situation to be in. I have to be this emotional fortress, but yet the person I need to be emotional with, how can I let down the gate for her continuously? And it's difficult because women, where we get to a point where we want to open up the gate, you guys are consistently, don't hit me, let me hold on here, consistently somewhat irrational or illogical, emotional, things that you just fly off because your comeback is easier than us. A guy, when his heart broke, next 10 years, he don't want to hear it. You guys are more so to hit the reset button. You in a relationship again after all that? And reset button and start all over, a new person. With guys.
Women?
Yeah, because women bring the baggage.
No.
Guys let the baggage close the door. That's it. Women bring the baggage.
Yeah.
Guys be like, I ain't moving. My bag's here. That's where it's staying. You got to come to me. And then I don't even know if they're going to move. Just sit on them, put the coffee on it, the bag's still in the room. But women, go ahead.
So, but to say to that, so, you know, I actually have had this conversation with a girlfriend of mine, and, you know, yes, I know that men will kind of hold things in, and they will take them time to process it, and women are easy to hit the reset button. But I feel like if you take so long to fester in your emotion, you're stopping your life's progress. So we all have to get to a point to, whether it with anything, you have to hit the reset button, because mental illness is very real.
Yes.
And the more that you allow those feelings and emotion and that anger to kind of sit and fester, you don't realize, but there are so many people walking around that are depressed and they don't know that they are because they've allowed all of that hurt and that pain to continue to build up. And mental illness is very prevalent in the Black community in particular. And we don't process it because just like they say, man up, they also say in Black communities is you'll get over it, figure it out.
Right.
You know, so that's just as a whole. So, you know, yeah, I get it. You want to hold on to it, but we have to learn how to hit the reset button because you have to continue with your life's process. Your feelings are going to get hurt. Your heart is going to get broken. You're not going to like what someone says. You're not going to like what someone does, but you can't continue to hold on to that for the rest of your life.
Iman, and I totally agree, you know, with you. And going back to what Damon said, where do you learn those things from? Because I know as me as a man, you know, again, not having my father around, whatever, I didn't learn none of those, learning how to get over it.
Right.
You know, the guys in the streets was like, there go a honey right there. Get on it.
Right.
And that's
Not get over it, you know.
Right.
So with that, you know, it was hard to learn. And I totally agree with you because those things were stopping me from being able to go to the next level. But like what Damon said, you didn't know where to learn that from. You know, I didn't have a friend like Damon growing up saying, listen, you'll be good, let it go, move on. You know, I had the friend that was like, you know, yo, don't allow girls to do that to you. You know, go on to the next girl. She ain't no good.
Right.
She could have been a good girl, but, you know, for me, I kept with that. So as men, where do we learn those things at? Like, you know, Damon, like, would you know, like, where do we gain that knowledge from?
Well, I believe that steel sharpens steel. We are in a place where kings and queens don't walk the earth in plentiful numbers, right? So men, we learn, it's a spectator sport for us. Because we don't have the sex conversation. We don't have the, this is where you walk with a woman conversation, this is how you drive. We look at this man and say, I like the way he talks to the ladies. I like the way that he talks in front of a group of people. I like the way that he's handled himself in school. This is how we become this character because we mimic people that we enjoy around us. But it's never a conversation because the ego and humbleness is something that comes with maturity. Not so much with age, it's just an understanding in life. I didn't grow up saying, hey, women. 85% of my family was women. So I was forced into a position where I heard the other side of the story. So I was like, I don't know if it's always like that, man, like maybe. And then I also believe in karma. I didn't like if my sister or my cousins came home and they was crying about a behavior that I did in the street as well. Somebody did it to her and I was like, yeah, well, I did that. That's kind of fair. So to hear that, it kind of gives you a different perspective. So what brothers can do first is not, you listen to women, not listen to them telling you what to do, but the stuff they go through. It's almost like in any therapy. If you want to stop somebody from selling drugs, you take them to a ward where babies are born to mothers that use drugs. So it opens up this sensitivity to them like, wow, this is what my behavior does. So, and steel sharpens steel. Brothers have to have a standard. We have to literally say, you can't hang out with me if you do that to women. Because when we walk in the room, we are a reflection of each other.
Yes.
So when you do that, they're not going to say, oh, that's what Calvin did. They're going to say, that's how they get down.
Right.
Because you can't be in a situation that makes you uncomfortable saying, okay, I'm disconnected from that. No, I'm connected to it. What you did was wrong. And it's difficult in a world that's led with don't judge me style. Because don't say nothing about my behavior. Look at yourself. Yeah, I am looking at myself through you. We can't do this anymore. It doesn't make us better. And I think that's what we do in our friendships. Just in general, let's make each other better. That should be the way that we go into it. Let's make each other better so it doesn't look like I'm criticizing you. It doesn't look like I'm trying to change your life. What we're doing is we're growing. We're maturing to the part where we start understanding the results of our decisions and our behavior. So then your friends really become your friends. You know that it's not worth sleeping with him or her because that's going to compromise what I got now. And that's what's beautiful. And, you know, it's not an overnight thing, but brothers definitely have to start holding each other to a standard. Because we don't know out here. A lot of brothers, they freestyling when it comes to manhood. They didn't grow up around their fathers. They didn't grow up around anybody that consistently made hard decisions. And that's what men do. They consistently make those hard decisions. Just like the I'm good, it's a hard decision. I'm swallowing this. Why? Because it's the better. I got to hold it. Why? Because society, not everything about man up is bad. Sometimes I'm mad somebody didn't man up. Now ain't the time to cry. Now ain't the time to man up. We talk about the emotions later. But you feel me? It's like, it's not just a one thing, but one approach brothers can do is hold each other to a standard.
Yeah.
We got to tell each other when something is wrong. We just can't say, sometimes. We got to say, that's wrong. And this is why it's wrong. Because that person is almost guaranteed to repeat it if nobody said anything about it. The smallest window for learning is through a bad decision and a want to result.
All right.
It's all about accountability as well.
Okay. Okay. Well, we're almost about to close. So before we close, I just want to say one thing. The great thing about waking up every day is knowing that it's another opportunity to finish what we started. Another opportunity to start over, or another opportunity to be better than we was yesterday. I know a lot of people like to do New Year's resolution, and I'm not knocking it, but what happened on those days where you forget your gym bag and you can't go to the gym that day? What happened to the days where you get an unexpected bill and now you can't save the money that you expected to save? What happened to the other 364 days? What do you do then? A lot of times we come into situations that we're going to have to be better than trying to do on day one, on New Year's Day. Are you going to face challenges? Yes, of course. Are there going to be obstacles you're going to have to get over? Of course, you're going to have to. Are there going to be people you're going to have to let go out of your life? Yes, I definitely believe that. About 3-4 years ago, I ran into a situation that almost destroyed the plan and blessings that God had on my life. And I ended up calling a friend, and I'll never forget what they said to me. I called them, and I was venting. I was going in. I really wanted to tell them this. And they said something to me that just changed my whole perspective on not just the situation, but just on life, period. When I was talking to them, and I was telling them everything that was going on, there was a moment of silence. And the next words they said to me is, "So what's next?" And when I heard that, there was a moment of silence on the end of the phone with me, because I was like, I just poured my soul and my heart out to you, and the only thing you could say to me is, "What's next?" I was like, I'm never calling this person again. But little did I know that was the greatest message I could ever hear. Because what that told me is that life is 10% what happens to you and 90% what you do about it. There's going to be days where it's going to rain. It's not always going to be sunshine. And when it rains, it's going to pour. There's going to be days where you're going to want to give up. There's going to be days where you're not going to want to do anything, where it's just going to be pouring on top of your head. But the only people that can appreciate rain are the people that don't plant seeds. Because people that plant seeds always knows that rain is important for growth. So what do you do on January 1st? On January 2nd, you just keep going. Don't stop there. Because I definitely believe that you can do it. And why do I believe that you can do it? Because you woke up the next day. And why do I believe that? Because God woke you up the next day. So that just tells me that you're not done, that you have another opportunity to finish what you started. So don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on your aspirations. Don't give up on your goals. Giving up isn't an option. I understand that we all got 99 problems, but losing isn't one of them.
Amen.
So just continue to keep going. I'm surrounded around amazing, amazing people. The people that are sitting up here with me today, I picked them personally because I know their struggles. I know what they went through. I know their goals. And one thing that I love being around them and having them around me is knowing that, they don't stop. They all individually just keep going. And like Damon said, iron sharpens iron, and they just keep me going, just watching them go all the time. I don't see them all the time. We don't get a chance to talk all the time, but I secretly watch what they're doing. And I take little things from them, and I keep going just off of that. So I thank y'all all for being here today. I thank y'all for the support. We're about to close the show, so if y'all want to say anything, Xavier, you can go ahead. You can.
Just thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be part of this panel. Great discussion, seriously.
Yes.
I really enjoyed it. And, Damon, always a pleasure. Seriously, I love this brother. I love him because of his wisdom and his humor. I love it. I look forward to it. And thank you, my sister, for even just everything and the wisdom you imparted, and even from your own personal experiences, because we all have different experiences, you know. So to be able to come together, you know, and on a platform where we can share and respect one another, respect our differences, and celebrate our differences at the same time, I think it's a beautiful thing. So I look forward to more of Mr. Garvey hosting. Yes.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Damon, Iman, you want to say, you know, like, just really quick, I thank you guys for being here. You guys both always, you know, Iman, I love having you up here. You always, the ladies love having you up here because you speak for the ladies, but you also speak for the men.
I straddle the
I will
line.
say that. But the ladies love having you up here. Every time we do the panel, the truth, they be like, please bring her back. Please bring her back. You know, and you know, men love looking at you, so they love having you up here. Damon, I love you. I love you, Damon. Always, Damon speaks for the men. And Damon, when you're speaking, I'll be like a bobblehead dog. Like, that's what I said. That's what I meant to say. So I love having you up here.
Well, Carmen, I see that you was trying to make me cry. That's not gonna happen. Right? I enjoy. You know, tissue.
I got tissue.
I'm not crying.
Man up.
I'm manning up. It's not a crying time.
Okay.
But just remember that I'm a mere reflection of you, man.
Okay.
Anything I do, you're an inspiration. Iman, like, come on. How often you sing? You're phenomenal. Iman can cook, not just cook, she can burn. Because I cook too, lady, I cook. But Iman can cook, and she cooks better than me on Tuesday. Not every day, but on Tuesday. But it's just a great feeling to be invited and be considered somebody that's in your tax bracket. Somebody that could just be on this realm. So I'm humbled by it. I appreciate the opportunity. Anything you need from me, brother, you call. You know I won't always be late. But I'll never be wrong.
Thank you.
Can I just?
20, we got like 20 seconds. 20 seconds.
I just want to say thank you for having me. When I started my brunch about 7 to 8 years ago now is when you and I first met. And I've watched your growth, you know, and I think that individually as friends we were growing, and together as friends we were growing. And just to be a part of your first live show of DaTruth is such an honor, and I thank you for that. Xavier, it's always great being in your presence. And Damon, of course, there are no words to say about my Aquarian brother, you know, but no, thank you seriously, and I hope I can come back again.
Thank you, definitely. Well, we thank you for joining us tonight. We hope that you join us on the next episode, and please stay tuned. Thank you.